Have you ever wondered what came first, next, and last when it comes to your problem, when it comes to your medical condition, when it comes to what you've been diagnosed with? Have you ever wondered what came first? What was the root cause? Today, I, Dr. Ben, I'm going to talk to you on this Pastoral Care-Patient Care channel about what God has said about your health. And I know this is not a religious talk. This is talking about how God has impressed upon scientists and researchers to figure out exactly what starts, what happens next, and what happens after. So there is an established hierarchy when it comes to our human bodies functioning the way God designed us to be. There are some things that come first, next, and last. So I'm going to address two categories of people. Okay, if you happen to be sitting there and you are a patient and you have a medical diagnosis, I believe this video is going to be able to set you straight, because it's going to tell you exactly what came before your problem. Okay, and if you're sitting there as a healthcare professional today, I want to honor you because you have an incredible role to play. Whether you are on the first step of the hierarchy or your second or the very last step, understand that your role is only significant because of the totality of the plan that you are a part of. Treating human beings is a privilege. Treating people's diseases and pain and all sorts of unhealthy stuff. It's a tremendous honor that I and you have been gifted with that to play. So I just want to honor you, because don't feel like you are any less than anyone. This video is not intended to make anyone feel that way. In fact, if there's anyone who feels really disqualified, it's actually me. Like, I feel like I've had all these revelations and stuff from God and from mentors and stuff like that, but I'm only 34, so I'm not going to disqualify myself because I'm young. I'm not going to disqualify myself because I am not a long-time doctor, unlike a lot of my professors, which I'll be talking about their work afterwards. So don't disqualify yourselves. You are significant because you have influence, and because your role is so much smaller compared to the big picture of things. Okay, so I'm just gonna now dive into that video, and we're gonna talk about health as God intended. And you guys have heard me throw this phrase around a lot, but really it is talking about this one question that I found so practical in answering every patient's problem. And that is the question that goes, what comes first, next, and last? Now, I want to take you guys back to an experience that I had in San Diego when I was in school. In San Francisco, I would travel all the way to San Diego for a 1-week conference. And I remember I was completely awestruck with all the information that was out there. Like, I was taking notes. How many of you guys know that when you're a good student, you are a sponge, right? And sponges just absorb stuff, write it down, internalize it, apply it. They can try again, they absorb it, they put it down, they write it down, they apply it. So that whole spongy action just kept going on, and I was just so in awe with how God really designed the body. And then I remember halfway through the seminar, as each speaker came up, I felt the Lord ask me this question. Imagine if he knew me. Imagine if that researcher, that scientist knew me. Now, some of you guys listening and you go like, I'm not religious, I don't know God, blah, blah, blah. Now, we're talking about how God designed your body with a hierarchy, with a plan, with a design template. I mean, some things come first, next, and last. So regardless of your religion or whoever you put your faith in, I'm just going to tell you exactly what this truth is, which is how you and I, regardless of religious, language, or race, are designed. Okay, so there are some things that comes first, next, and last, and I am so honored to be able to present to you today on a very looking at a grand scheme of things, the quintessential applications. Now, quintessential applications is a long word, so I'm just going to call it QA for short. I'll put the link down below in the description box if you want to get to understand the great work behind Dr. 𝗏𝗏 and Dr. 𝘍𝘪. So I just want to give crazy credit and honor to these two individuals who have actually put together this very book that you see right here. And this really answers that question for healthcare professionals like myself. What comes first, next and last. So if you want to take the course, it's a good 400 or 500 hour advanced course that you do sort of during school and postgraduate, which I am so privileged to be able to do, and I have been able to understand every patient's problems because I now understand exactly how God designed the body. There are some stuff that comes first, next and last. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this next point called systemic versus local. Now, I'm going to do a full video on that right after this, right? And but understand that in a systemic way, right? When we talk about systemic, there are a couple of steps in your body when you're trying to achieve 100% health that actually has a systemic influence. That means your brain actually treats your certain parts of your body, right, as a global problem. That means if I have a problem with this part of my brain, okay, the influences is not just pain here, it's affecting probably 35 things. That's just a hypothetical number, right? Or if I eat, say, vegetable oil, which I hope you guys know it's not what God designed and it's horrible for you. If you take vegetable oil, it's not just going to give you a sore throat just because it went in your mouth first. It's going to affect many things. So local problem happens to be something like maybe I use a marker and I whack my hand, and there's localized pain, and that's a local influence. Now, when it comes to the way God designed the body and asking the question, what comes first, next and last, being root cause focused, we always want to address systemic influences because they affect local influences. I'm going to draw this one directional arrow here. Okay, systemic influences affect local problems. So in our clinic here, a lot of patients' problems actually go away, or their local problems like pain in the low back, pain in the ear, tinnitus, stuff, right? So many other problems that we treat. They all go away even before we start addressing the local problem, right? Or I can fix someone else's systemic problem that came from the shoulder, and it can affect their wrist to the point where the wrist pain goes away. So all the wrist guard and the heat patch, the whatever stuff that they use, all seems to fade away. Why? Not because I treat the local problem. Yes, I kind of did, but I indirectly treated this from treating this. Okay, so understand that God designed our bodies with layers. So yes, like what comes first, next and last, but really the layers are looking at the inner core, the innermost layers are the systemic ones that start to affect the stuff on the outside, which are more localized. Okay, now what are the systemic influences? So I'm going to go into all these specific details about what I'm about to share in the next video. But understand the four main systems that I want you guys to understand. It's firstly the nervous system. Okay, now the next system. Okay, and I know some of you guys who are sort of healthcare trained, you guys would think about the physiological systems. Now, just sort of track with me here. I'm sort of talking about systemic influences. Okay, so a specific problem in our health that can have systemic influence. So I'm not really talking about physiological systems like cardiovascular and stuff like that. I mean, although some of them are, okay, but I'm gonna back up a little bit, and the first systemic influence actually is pain. Okay, and pain can come from chronic or acute. Okay, but they are often hidden. That means you have people who has probably had an ankle sprain and they never got it sorted out, and then they got low back pain, say 2 years, 3 years, even 20 years after. And then when we treat this problem, we realize, oh, you had a hidden chronic pain that happened 20 years ago. It's now affecting your low back. And then we fix that, and then your low back pain goes away. Stuff like that. Now, pain is the first one. Second one, so I'm just gonna leave with that one. Now, second one is actually your inflammation. Okay, I'll show you guys can see that. Yes, I'm just gonna create. Okay, now, inflammation. Okay, you can see that? Now, the third one is hormones. So hormones can have a major systemic influence on many things. Now, last one is your immune system. Okay, sorry you guys can't see that. I'm just gonna try again for you. Immune system. Okay, so number 1, pain, chronic or acute. Number 2, inflammation. Number 3, hormones. Number 4, immune system. Now, why did I emphasize on these 4? Because these 4, like I said earlier, they are the major systemic influencers of local problems. That means if you got any other issues that are not here, the problem is here. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. If you have issues in your health right now that are not within the realm of immune system or hormones, inflammation, pain, whether they're good or bad, right? Hormones, whether they're high or low, immune system, whether they're autoimmune, they're good immune system, they are hypersensitive, like allergies, blah blah blah. If your issues are not in any one of these 4, then your problem probably originated in either one of these 4. It could be a combination. It could be 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, all of the 4. But your problem is otherwise localized. That means any other issues that you have are probably more of a local problem because they're not systemically originated. Okay, so I know this could possibly blow some of your minds right now because you guys would go like, oh wow, there's actually so much problems in my health, right, that are actually not here. So if you got chronic, maybe some kind of infection, right, I'll be looking at your immune system here. Okay, if you got, say, a skin problem, which is more of a, a localized reaction, right, I'll be looking at your pain, your inflammation, your hormones, and your immune system. So this is how God designed the body, guys. It's not rocket science. It is well-established research pointing to this very fact that there are systemic problems that are causing localized problems. So if you are a healthcare professional and you deal with any of this area right now, whether it's the immune system, whether it's the hormones, inflammation, or pain, right, I want to say that you're on the right track in treating a lot of other problems, and that's exactly how God designed our bodies to be. Okay, so I just want to say that even if you feel lost at the moment, right, I just want you to know that there's hope, because hope originates from some things that we can grab onto, some things that we can't see. So I hope this is something that you can see. You can see that actually if you deal with your pain, if you deal with your inflammation, if you deal with your hormones, if you deal with your immune system, you can actually get better health. Okay, so I hope this blesses you. I hope this adds value to your life. Okay, and in the next video, I'm going to go into every single one of these 4 and how we can actually use different examples. Okay, I'm going to give you different examples of localized problems that can actually be solved by asking this question, what came first? So if your issue here is a localized problem, I'm going to ask what came first, which is likely to be 1 or more of these 4. Okay? I hope this blesses you again, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. And if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.